All right, Dana, thank you. Now to our other top story tonight, an update on the tragic story we've been following all week. 2 men who died while hiking in southern Utah have been identified. ABC4 Northern Utah correspondent Cade Garner telling us more about the victims.
This is a heart-wrenching story to follow. The Kane County Sheriff's Office identifying those 2 men as Bill Romaniello and Dr. Jeffrey Watson, both visiting Utah from Florida and pillars of their community. The men were part of a 3-person group hiking at Buckskin Gulch, a slot canyon near the Utah-Arizona border. On Monday, they were reported missing. Search teams rescued 1 man on Monday. The other 2 were found dead on Tuesday and Wednesday. This tragedy is rocking the Tampa Bay, Florida community. Watson and Romaniello worked at Orthopedic Medical Group of Tampa Bay. The hospital releasing a statement emphasizing how hard this news has been, saying, quote, "Tragedy has hit the practice, and it is with profound sadness that we share the loss of Dr. Jeffrey Watson and William Romaniello, 2 pillars of the practice that leave an incredible legacy and a monumental void in the hearts of everyone that knew them." Romaniello also volunteered as an EMT in Connecticut. The Brookfield Volunteer Fire Company says, quote, "Bill served as a dedicated EMT in Brookfield for over a decade before relocating to Florida. He was a compassionate and competent provider who greeted everyone with a giant smile." No one wanted to speak on camera about the accident, but hundreds of people have shared messages online wishing the families well and highlighting just how important these 2 men were to their communities. One message says, "Jeff was an amazing United States Air Force doctor, so very sad to hear. May his family be surrounded by love during this very difficult time." Another says, "Bill was a great partner and a great person." One person writes, "Served with Jeff in the United States Air Force. Excellent colleague and human being." And another states, "Great EMT and an even better athletic trainer. Bill, you'll be terribly missed." This seems to be really hard for the communities back east. The hospital telling me these were incredible men, but out of respect for the family's wishes, they couldn't tell me anything else. Now, from what we've been able to gather, the 3rd hiker also works at the hospital. Reporting from the ABC4 Northern Utah Bureau, I'm Cade Garner.
In Washington County, a closer look tonight at the successful rescue of 6 people yesterday. Flash floods stranding them on the wrong side of what was turned into a raging river. Take a look.
Stay with it.
The rescue at Johnson Canyon Trail in Ivins, Washington County Search and Rescue using a zip line anchored to both sides of the wash to bring 3 children ages 2 to 6 and 3 adults to safety. The video showing just how fast conditions can turn when those rains hit. On that note, we head to a first look at the weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Alana Brophy. And Alana, that's why it's just really important to pay attention to what's happening this time of year.
You're right, Glenn. We not only had heavy rain, but that really prompted that early snow melt, and that's something we're going to keep a close eye on. These were the conditions at Snow Canyon State Park yesterday as that water came rushing over the road. High flows, that was something they were battling in southern Utah, and even tonight they still are for the Santa Clara River. We're keeping an eye on that warning that is still in effect and will hold on through this evening. It impacts the Santa Clara River south of Gunlock all the way through Ivins, Santa Clara and into St. George and towards Bloomington. So you want to be careful near the banks of the river even tonight as that flood stage recedes a little bit. This is what it looked like. The Virgin River, which was flowing today, even with those dry skies and plenty of sunshine out there, which is what we're seeing at this hour from our Utah Tech camera. Pretty shot there, drying things up. And we get a couple of days that way, but then things start to change. Temperatures are chilly out there. Maybe you've noticed we're running about 8 to 10 degrees below average for this time of year, just above freezing in Logan, 40s along the Wasatch Front, only the mid-50s in St. George. And while we're dry, we know that is not going to last forever. Spring is knocking and changes are on the way. I'll break down when we'll see more active skies showing up on the satellite radar and in your backyard coming up in my full forecast. Glenn, over to you.
Lana, thank you. New at 5, the Salt Lake City Police Department has their spokesperson back on the job. Sergeant Brent Weisberg returning to work this week after a month of paid leave. Now, the police department taking action against Weisberg after he showed up to the scene of a crime in a city police car under the influence. The department says Weisberg blew a .027 blood alcohol content, which is below the legal limit in our state. Weisberg releasing a statement saying this: "I take responsibility for my actions. The mere fact that I put myself in this position is personally and professionally disappointing, and I am very sorry." Chief Mike Brown saying he has full confidence in Weisberg moving forward. Also new at 5, a second arrest made in the ambush-style murder of a man with Utah ties. Today, authorities arresting this man you see here, Mario Fernandez Saldana, in Central Florida. He's married to the ex-wife of the man he's accused of killing, 33-year-old Jared Bridegan, a Microsoft executive who graduated from Utah Valley University. And last year, Bridegan was repeatedly shot in front of his 2-year-old daughter in Florida. Fernandez Saldana is facing charges of murder and child abuse. In Utah County, the man accused of crashing into and killing 2 toddlers in Eagle Mountain while high on meth in court today. Prosecutors want to change a manslaughter charge against Kent Cody Barlow to murder. Nearly 8 months ago, police say he drove his car at 100 miles an hour into a corral, killing 3-year-olds Odin Ratliff and Hunter Jackson. The admitted charges saying evidence points to Barlow having a, quote, depraved indifference to life. A judge hearing arguments for and against these new charges today.
I think this is where we're at, and I think the substantial rights of Mr. Barlow would be significantly prejudiced by allowing this amendment at this stage.
I don't see how. The evidence in the case is going to be the same, whether or not this is tried as a murder case or tried as a manslaughter case.
The judge asking for prosecutors and the defense to submit briefs supporting their arguments. They'll be back in court April 27th, and that's when the judge is expected to make a decision. In politics tonight, the governor addressing a number of the bills he signed into law during his monthly press conference today, including a new law limiting abortion access. HB 467 will close all abortion clinics in the state. It outlaws the licensing of any new clinics after May 2nd and shuts down any current clinics when their licenses expire. He says HB 467 is an improvement on Utah's abortion trigger law that's currently held up in the courts.
There wasn't clarity around rape, incest, and the health and safety of the mother. And so this bill clarifies that so that those abortions can continue. They will continue in a hospital setting, but there is nothing that would prevent those from continuing.
This new law does cap the abortion window for victims of rape and incest at 18 weeks of pregnancy. As for the rest of the bills still needing a final sign-off, the governor saying he doesn't have any for sure vetoes at this point. The bills he says he absolutely would have vetoed died in the session. A Draper family warning others after claiming they lost thousands of dollars to a scammer posing as a police officer. Yesterday, Blake Kelton says his wife got a phone call from someone claiming to be with the police department. Now, Pelton says she was told that she was in contempt of court for not showing up to testify in a criminal case, and to avoid getting arrested, she had to immediately pay $25,000 bond by purchasing prepaid debit cards. Pelton says his wife was skeptical and searched the phone number and the name of the police officer, but both checked out.
She had our son with her, so she was afraid of being arrested in front of her son, and she was just sort of jarred and panicked and not really sure what to do.
Pelton says his wife was told she could not hang up until the money was paid. A bank teller noticed she was in tears after sending some of that money and told her to hang up the phone. She did do that, called police, who say this type of scam is common, and they continue to tell people that police agencies will never call demanding payment.